This is the Geekery Update with Alan and Brian. I am Brian.
And I am Alan.
You are not my father.
Do you know that for sure?
But shh.
Okay.
Let's talk about Disney Investors Day. You know, I think that so much news came from it. The first thing I want to talk about is something that really stuck out for me, and I'm going to start with the Loki trailer. We'll start there. The Loki trailer, what really stuck out for me is the very last thing that happens in the trailer is he jumps out that plane and gets pulled up by the Bifrost, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you know, do you know who D.B. Cooper is?
Okay, I've heard of him mainly from the Kid Rock song. What was that?
So
for D.B. Cooper and the money he took.
That's basically, so he hijacked the plane, midway through flight, opened the door, jumped out with a parachute. Was never found. Okay? Never found.
Like an Amelia Earhart kind of thing.
Correct. So notice how when Loki jumps out the plane before that, he actually, if you pull up D.B. Cooper, Loki looks just like him before he jumps out the plane, like with the hair, the glasses, and everything. And you know, I've read this online too, but they're saying that's so he's, in essence, he jumps out the plane, he disappears. That becomes the D.B. Cooper story, not Loki.
Oh.
History remembers that incident is D.B. Cooper hijacking a plane, jumping out, and never being seen again, right? And I think that is so important because if you look at that scene, we really don't know what Loki's going to be about. But if you look at that scene,
some of the rumor was that Loki's going to take the Tesseract and he's going to time travel to different important events in history and slightly alter them.
Right, or in this case of the D.B. Cooper, in essence, he becomes that story.
Right. So what we know as history could have very well been what Loki had altered.
Correct. So I'm wondering a lot if that's what Loki's going to revolve around, is because, you know, there were talks when Loki was announced that that's kind of what it would be Loki's mischiefing history and being,
and that's how the Time Vault Authority would get involved because he's
correct.
Time.
Exactly. So, you know, and then Owen Wilson's character, you know, I didn't know how they were going to do. Wow, right? If he doesn't meet Loki and go, wow, like Kevin is dropping the ball big time. Yeah. Just kidding, Kevin. You don't ever drop the ball. But you know, I saw the trailer and I'm looking at Owen Wilson's character and I had to laugh because it is Owen Wilson. That's all it is. Like he's sitting there talking. He's Owen Wilson in every movie, right? So he's in this TV show or TV series Loki, and I'm like, oh, maybe he might be different. He might not be. Nope, he's still Owen Wilson. Still the same old Owen Wilson. Yeah. He's like, you just did it just now. So, you know, a couple other things. There's a scene where they're in a church, and if you look at the stained glass behind them, I don't know who it is. It's two people. It's dark figures. But if you look at the stained glass behind them, it looks like Mephisto.
Oh.
Okay. And then there is another scene somewhere in Loki, this trailer, where there's a statue of 3 kings, is what it looks like. Right?
Okay.
So for all we know, Kang could pop up in Loki before Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You know, I also want to applaud Marvel for how they executed the Loki trailer. I think starting it the way they did, reminding us that this is Loki from Endgame.
Yeah.
I think that was genius. And I don't know if you've heard this, but Loki is, from Disney Investors Day, Loki is easily the most watched trailer thus far.
Really?
You know, so I think Loki is the one. I think Loki's the one people are honestly most anticipated for. I think we can all agree Tom Hiddleston has done Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. type, performance with Loki. He has made that character. There is nobody else I can imagine playing Loki ever.
Yeah.
It's interesting with Loki. This is going to be the earliest version of Loki that we know, right? This isn't Thor: The Dark World. This version of Loki hadn't lost his mom, right?
Yeah.
This version of Loki hadn't seen Asgard blown up. This version of Loki hadn't been to Scar.
Where
this version of Loki, like
he was still straight up evil in this. Whereas as they moved on, he was more of an anti-hero.
And that's one of the another thing I loved about Ragnarok was how they did his story of redemption, right?
Yeah.
Like he betrays Thor there at the end, where he splits off and Thor's like, "Hey, I got you, shocked you." But then he comes back with the ship and rescues Asgard.
Yeah.
And I love how he does it. He's like, "Your savior is here." Like, look at me and all of the ego that I have.
All right.
That is so Loki. Like, focus on me because I'm pretty and I'm awesome and I'm a hero now.